Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Euro 2024 show. Of course, we are back to discuss the quarter-final matches, some really good games in this round. And yeah, we're going to get into it. And of course, we are going to be making our predictions for the semi-finals. Who is making it through to Berlin for the final on Sunday? We shall make our predictions towards the end, and I'd love you all to get involved in the chat as well, of course. But first of all, before we do get going, guys, I do want to say a big thanks to everybody that has helped me get to 500 subscribers. I'm honestly, it might seem quite small to quite a lot of people, but to be honest with you, it isn't. I feel like it's taken me a long time to get to 500, and I think obviously it felt like I've been at 400 for ages now. So no, I appreciate everybody that's subscribed, helped me get to that target, and just for supporting what I do, really. Honestly, I know I say it so much, but it means so much to me. But yeah, so yeah, I did want to start with that. I really appreciate it. It really did make me happy when I saw that we'd hit the 500 subscribers this afternoon. So yeah, big up to you all, and thank you so much to everyone that's so supportive of the channel. But anyway, we are going to get into it, but we have got a special guest. My main man, my main guest that comes on and discusses the Euros. I've loved having his company throughout these last few episodes and throughout the Euros to discuss the games. But let's get in without further ado. Manny, welcome on in, mate. How are you doing? Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, first of all, Ryan, mate, let me just say congratulations on the 500. I never knew until now, and I'm really glad that you were able to get to this landmark. And yeah, it's a real pleasure to continue to be a part of this show with you. And I'm really glad that things are getting a lot better. And hopefully, we might see a little bit more content from you, AFC related, of course, with the new season about to start. I think. But obviously, when it comes to England, the best part about, as I said, supporting England is that it brings together fans of different clubs, because regardless of our club loyalties or what have you, we're all united behind the country, at least in theory.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, it's been great, and like you said, it's good to do, these contents, and yeah, of course. I'm excited for the new season, obviously going to a few new grounds that I've never been to, so I'll be doing a few contents around that as well, and maybe a few vlogs along the way. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. But Doug's in, he says congrats on 500. Yeah, big up to you. I appreciate you. I've seen you've kept shouting me out on your platforms as well, so you've really helped me get to that target too. So I appreciate you, Doug. Really, I really do. It goes a long way when you see people that go out the way to support and just share the channel. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. But we are going to get into it because we are here to discuss these Euros quarter-final games that happened a few days ago. And yeah, I mean, let's start with the first game. Spain beating Germany after this game had it all, and it certainly didn't disappoint, did it? It really had a lot of drama, great to watch as well, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't get the score right, but I did actually get the winner right. So,
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
So, no, but look, this game, right, I think Spain, Spain are just continuing to play how they have played since the beginning. I really enjoyed watching them. They really impressed me. And for me, they have been the best team in this tournament. And, they've been the most exciting to watch as well, in my opinion. But no, obviously, Olmo got the goal for Spain in the 51st minute. And it did look like Spain were going to win 1-0, but then Wirtz came up with an 89th minute goal. And, late drama there, which took it to extra time, of course. And then Marino, when we all thought it was going to penalties, to be fair, because in the 119th minute, Marino pops up with a goal. I think this was certainly the most kind of anticipated match of the tournament so far, as it, and this game was really played with a lot of aggression, tension, and there were a lot of drama as well, as I said. And I think that it was really exciting to watch. Like I say, Dani Olmo doesn't really get the respect he deserves. He's a good player, to be fair. And I think that he does go under the radar maybe in Spain's time. But I do like him. I do think he's great. Obviously, Germany, didn't really have much time to respond to that late goal, but obviously in the extra time. But of course, it's gutting for the likes of Toni Kroos, who you could argue he deserved a better ending for what he's done for the game. But look, it wasn't to be, unfortunately, for them, and that is it. That's what it is. But this victory for Spain means that they remain unbeaten at Euro 2024, and they look to win the championship for the first time since 2012. But yeah, look, it could have gone to penalties, to be honest with you, but Spain did seem to get the upper hand. But I probably haven't explained the game that well, but Manny, it was a great game, and I really did enjoy this game. But what did you make of it all, and did you think Spain just about deserved to win this game?
Well, I think one thing on which I'm going to agree with you is that the standard of refereeing from our English contingent has been absolutely diabolical. How Anthony Taylor could even contrive to not give that a penalty, it was, just a dereliction of duty, for want of a nicer word. Now, the commentators were saying that the interpretation of the rule was this. Because Marc Cucurella was apparently trying to bring his arm back towards his body and the ball inadvertently hit his hand, he deserved to be given the benefit of doubt. I'm sorry, but, to the eye, the keen eye, there was clearly distance between Cucurella's hand and his hip when the ball hit his hand. So by the letter of the law, that should have been a penalty. And Germany obviously have every reason to feel as though they were robbed. Probably not quite to the level of the Geoff Hurst second goal that shouldn't have been given, but robbed nonetheless. And so it was really gutting for them in many ways, because I actually believed that in as much as people might claim that they weren't really consistent enough in some respects, they were in many ways one of the teams of the tournament as well. Yeah. And it was just cruel luck that they ended up facing a red-hot Spanish team in that match in the second round, a match which in and of itself was worthy of being a final. And both teams and players said that. But having said all of that, you can't just have use the hard luck story all the time. You've also got to say that when it came to the crunch, Germany at times were a little bit sluggish. You also have to just think about how cruel it was that Antonio Rudiger, who's defending, was absolutely spot on for the remainder of for the entire tournament, had that one moment where he just completely felt tired and lost his man, and the rest is history. And we all know what Marino did. It was a brilliantly planted header that even if that had been 2014 Manuel Neuer, who would have dived and arched himself, there's no way that he would have saved that. And so it was that, Germany ended up leaving, but they actually earned a lot of respect. And there's a part, and I never thought I'd say this as an England football fan, but I actually felt a great deal for the Germans. But well done to Spain. They came through an absolute gladiatorial battle. And I suppose on the balance of play, probably deserved their win. But let's not get too giddy about the prospect of them actually winning their semi-final against France, because it's the very definition of a Pyrrhic victory. They've lost several of their starters, including the likes of Alvaro Morata and Dani Carvajal, to suspensions. Carvajal, in fact, actually contrived to pick up a second booking, which equated to a red. So he will miss not only the semi, but also the final. And quite a few others were suspended. So it could very well be that Luis de la Fuente will be playing a makeshift team, and we, of course, will be talking about that. But I have to say as well that I've been impressed by Spain. I had them as, virtual no-hopers. I get that, they were the Nations League winners, but that particular success, in my opinion, was really more of, in some ways, a kind of, I suppose you'd say a bit of a fluke, really, because Spain never really, in that tournament, really convinced me that they were worthy of winning. But this time around in the Euros, I think De La Fuente seems to have gotten, the right blend, the right formula. Obviously, the likes of Rodri playing in the middle and Yamal and Williams up front. It's tough for any team, and I suppose you also give Spain some credit. They probably showed that they had the greater desire, the greater heart. They had probably what you'd call a bit of a second wind. But you also do have to feel for the Germans as well. They had plenty of chances to snatch a win, and they probably it would have been, deserved. It was one of those matches that neither team deserved to lose, and heartbreakingly for the hosts, they ended up having to go out. And at least now they understand the pain that they inflicted on us when they knocked us out of Euro 96 at the semi-final stage.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, you put it very nicely there. But yeah, no, this means though that because Germany have exited, I've seen a stat here that no host nation has won Euros since France back in 1984. Of course, I did obviously do a bit of research for me to know that. But yeah, so being the host isn't the be all and end all. It has proven over the years. But I did think that De La Fuente, when he took off the likes of Yamal and Williams, I thought, is he gonna come back to haunt him this? Because when you're taking off your best players and then you're obviously, conceding a goal, then you do feel the worst because you want your best players on in that extra time as well. But no, obviously it didn't matter in the end. But I think Spain were good value for their win personally, and I think they did deserve to win it.
Yeah,
and it also proves though that I know you did say the Germans did have chances, but defensively Spain didn't cope that badly, did they? Really, in hindsight,
You could say that. And I think in hindsight, Nagelsmann also has to take some criticism for the way he, selected his team at times. The decision, in my opinion, for him to play the same starting 11 that had played against Scotland and Hungary against the Swiss very nearly spectacularly backfired. And it was, the substitution of David Raum for Max Mittelstadt, which proved to be key in that game. And against Spain, it was Mittelstadt coming on again for Raum. That was one of the key substitutes again, as they improved their shape and ended up, doing what they needed to do. But I think questions will be asked for some of his selections. I think it's fair to say that Manuel Neuer showed that although his best days are very much long gone, he is still every inch a top quality goalkeeper, just nowhere near the level that he was when he won the Golden Glove at the 2014 World Cup. I mean, nobody's going to be the same player they were 10 years ago. That goes without saying. Yeah. And the issue of whether or not Kai Havertz should have started is always going to be something that will be debated for a very long period of time. I think it's fair to say, of course, that, Havertz, he only scored 2 penalties in the tournament, really. And he was the type of person who was trying to unsettle defenses. But there was also a part of me that just felt that he wasn't really going to have the sort of effect that Nagelsmann wanted from him. And the likes of Füllkrug and others were just, better than him. And so we've got to bear the brunt of that as Arsenal fans. I know a lot of people are saying, well, the fact that Germany have been knocked out early means that Havertz will come back fresh and fit. But, if that was his best playing for his nation, and normally for his nation, he does have a knack of scoring goals. If he performed like that in the big stage, I shudder to think how he will do for us when it comes back to the Premiership season.
Yeah, no, I think Kai had a great chance, didn't he, in this game? A really good chance. Simon seemed to be left in no man's land, and Kai tried to chip it up, tried to put it over him, but he missed it. Or he did have a chance. I can't remember exactly what the details, Manny, but he did have a chance, and these are the fine margins.
Absolutely.
Havertz had to score that because it was a good chance, but yeah.
Yeah, but right at the death, Füllkrug himself had the chance to equalise it again and take it to penalties, and he also missed. So again, it's all the fine margins. But Füllkrug can at least say that he had a much better and more productive tournament, unlike Havertz. And it will remain to be seen what Nagelsmann's future is after the tournament, because apart from Toni Kroos, let's also not forget that Thomas Müller and Manuel Neuer will, in all likelihood, have played their final games for the Mannschaft. I don't know if Ilkay Gundogan will continue. Maybe he will. But there is a good crop of younger players coming through. But with Neuer retiring, I think he is going to leave a very big gap, because I really don't know if Ter Stegen is the type of person who will be able to make the step up from perennial understudy to number one. But aside from that, they do have some good talent. And of course, let's not forget that in the likes of Serge Gnabry, they have another youth player who I was really impressed with at Bayern, and who could have made the squad had his injuries not gotten the better of the poor chap. But yeah, so the future is bright for German football, and when you consider how dire they were at one stage, even under the likes of Hansi Flick, for them to restore a little bit of pride the way they did, I think they can take some solace from that. But then any German fan will tell you that whenever they go for a major tournament, they will always expect to try to do really, really well, make the latter stages. And this will be a kick in the teeth for them. But Spain go through. Whether or not they will last against France will remain to be seen. But I'll tell you what, they've made me eat a bit of humble pie.
Man, I need to catch up with these comments, guys. I do apologise. I haven't seen these comments. Joshua was in this evening. Ryan, congratulations on that. These people that continue to come past with loud motorbikes that on these main roads. Anyway, Josh, it's the evening, Ryan. Congratulations on the final sub you deserve. Yeah, big up. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Marino, what a header. Yeah, he did the same celebration that his dad did in the same stadium for Osasuna versus the German side. It was in 1991. It was a UEFA Cup match between Osasuna and Stuttgart. Joshua, you always have all these stats, all these interesting stats.
Well, isn't that just a huge flashback, huh? Wonderful.
I wasn't even born then, so I don't know what you mean. But yeah, moving on. Doug says, by the way, how on earth was that not a penalty on Cucurella? I mean, yeah, we said that. You mentioned that, didn't you, man? I mean, yeah, just unbelievable. Shocking.
Yeah, and I think, Doug, you and I will share the same hope that there will be no English referee refereeing in the final. Of course, if England go through to the final, then there won't be an English referee anyway. But regardless of what happens, I don't want to see an English referee in the final. They've really disgraced the tournament.
Yeah, but Manny, when I questioned you about that in the last episode, you was like, "Well,
yeah." Yes, I did say that. Look, the Anderson handball, okay, it was marginal. It flicked his fingers. It wasn't an unnatural position. I know that the likes of Ange Postecoglou were apoplectic about that decision, but you just have to consider that they've seen that those sort of decisions given, and obviously by the letter of the law, you sort of have to give that in a way. And by the letter of the law, that should have been a penalty against Cucurella. The issue that I have is be consistent with your decisions. If you believe that if there's a gap between, the hand and the body when the ball hits the hand, by the letter of the law, I don't care if he was bringing his hand back, that's a penalty. It could have also been interpreted that Cucurella was actually trying to, in some ways, inadvertently control the ball with his hand.
But I disagree, because where is he meant to put his hand? Where was he meant to put his hand and arm? Where was he meant to? I don't know what you wanting him to do when you. But I didn't agree with that decision in the last round, to be fair. But anyway, we're going back on goal ground. But yeah, I think these English referees have disgraced themselves in this tournament, and yeah, I just think they're shocking. fingers crossed, Manny. Doug says, yeah, Anthony Taylor was a disgrace in that game. Yes, he was. In fact, I only marginally go with Anthony Taylor over Michael Oliver, but that doesn't mean that Anthony Taylor's any good. But yeah, Michael Oliver is even worse, in my opinion. Always controversy with the English referees. Doug says, yeah, there is. Always.
Yeah.
And this is why the chaos of the Premier League, where these referees are, that's why there is so much chaos in the Premier League with these decisions.
Agreed. And you just know that with Michael refereeing a game, there will be an Oliver-style twist.
Don't tell me Michael Oliver's doing the game.
No, he's not. I'm sure he's not. I mean, I don't know personally. I do know, of course, speaking of referees, that there will be a German referee taking charge of the Netherlands-England semi-final, and our boy Jude doesn't have a very good relationship with him.
Yeah. I mean, I just give it. Yellow card should have been given multiple times at the start of the game. Joshua says. Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, he did let quite a bit go. But anyway, that was it. So Spain do advance into the next round, of course, in semi-finals, and I think they deserved it. Anyway, let's move on to this game. This game was another case of a very poor spectacle, in my opinion. I think it wasn't a great game. Two underwhelming sides that have not really done great in this tournament, especially France, who have not scored an open play goal in the tournament, and Portugal have had their moments, admittedly, but they haven't looked the best either a lot of the time. But I mean, look, this game went all the way to penalties, and obviously France won it 5-3. For me, I think France deserved to. I think Portugal deserved to win this game personally, but only marginally. But look, it wasn't obviously it marks the end of an era for Portugal. Captain Ronaldo and Pepe, of course. Who, by the way, Pepe has been outstanding in this tournament. 41 years of age and just showing levels that you just find it hard to believe with a guy of that age. It's a huge respect for him, to be honest with you. He's been outstanding. And, Ronaldo, for me, is really flat to deceive and hasn't had the ending that he would have liked. But I don't know. I think he has been. I just think it just proves if you stay in competitive leagues like Pepe did with Porto, of course, then you do actually reap the rewards when you come to these international tournaments. Because I'm sorry, Ronaldo, if he would have stayed in Europe, I think he may have done a lot better in this tournament because the league that he's gone to is just no competition. It's very, very poor standard. Not that I watched much of it, but that's what I've heard. So. Look, it was a bit of a cagey game, wasn't it? A few chances. Though I think Portugal had the best of the chances. It's fair to say. And again, Mbappe, just no spark at all from Mbappe. And it just felt like France really did stumble through in this game. And Mbappe hasn't looked the same since. Mbappe hasn't looked the same since that injury. I mean, to be fair, he didn't do much before that, but I mean, he has been a bit poor from that moment. And Portugal go home to and they'll be disappointed, of course. But France somehow always seem to find a way, don't they? No matter how poorly they play, they always seem to find a way. But I mean, Manny, what did you make of this game overall? And would you agree when I say that Portugal probably did deserve this bet more than France in terms of the chances they created, the chances they had?
Yeah, it was really in many ways, Ryan, a poor spectacle, as you said, and you never really felt inspired watching either team play. The thing about Ronaldo as well, and I think, I have to mention Jonathan Liu writing a rather scathing criticism of him in the Guardian newspaper, where he said, what should have been a great semi-final ended up, having some parts of it stolen because everything was focused on, a 39-year-old player who wanted to be the star of the tournament, but just couldn't quite get it together when his team needed him to. And it sounds harsh, but he kept taking the free kicks to no avail. And whatever chances he was getting, he wasn't able to put them away. And, when you have players like Gonçalo Ramos and Diogo Jota on the bench, who you think should be the who should be the fulcrum of this team, who should be the main part of this should be the players around whom the team is being built, with Ronaldo possibly coming on for a substitute role as an impact sub, like Fernando Santos tried to do to him at the World Cup. To see Ronaldo starting and those young players being starved opportunities, I don't think Gonçalo Ramos played too many minutes in the tournament. In fact, I shudder to I don't even know if he got a single minute of game time, and that is in and of itself quite criminal because this is supposed to be his time. But Portugal obviously had a great deal more in terms of endeavour, and forget about Mbappe. It was really chastening in a way to see a France team that prides itself on being able to do so well in the midfield as well, and providing those chances for the likes of Mbappe and even Griezmann and others. They were struggling in the midfield. I don't even think Rabiot has had a reasonably good tournament. Camavinga's been brought in, and the only thing that's kept them alive is pretty much the quality of their defence. Shout out, of course, to my boy William Saliba, and people say that Mike Maignan has been the goalkeeper of the tournament so far. I don't think he's made any real brilliant saves that a goalkeeper of his quality shouldn't be expected to make. But it's the defence that have really, kept them in it. Theo Hernandez at left back, Jules Koundé at right back, Saliba and Upamecano in the middle. I thought Upamecano would be a bit of a weak link, but Deschamps seems to like him, and that's sort of how it's proved. But it's looked cumbersome from France in many ways. And I just think for them, they handled the pressure a lot better while Portugal simply cracked. You could tell that João Felix did not want to take that penalty. And when he took it and it hit the post, he obviously wanted the ground to just open up and swallow him, the poor boy. And as for France, they were ruthlessly efficient with their penalties. And Diogo Costa, who earned plaudits for his penalty saves against Slovenia, which were quite frankly appalling penalty kicks. That's why I keep saying you never ever ask a defender to take a penalty kick. Gareth Southgate, and as we will discover later, Manuel Akanji. And it was a case of France doing what they needed to do and making sure they got through. And Portugal just weren't able to conjure up anything. And it was a sad and a very sad end to Pepe's career. And I think you touched on it. Pepe has been magnificent in the tournament. It would be a travesty of justice if he weren't named to the team of the tournament, although you get the feeling that the semi-finalists might end up getting preference in that regard. But again, this has been a disappointing tournament for Portugal. It's been a disappointing tournament for France. But like England as well, and of course, given that we're both England fans, we're in no position to throw stones from our own glass house. I completely agree. But France, at least in stark contrast to us, have a kind of a recent winning heritage in recent times. They've been world champions, Nations League winners. They were, of course, World Cup runners-up. And they were, in fact, the last team to reach the final of the Euros in 2016. No, that was England. You're right. But in 2016, of course, they reached the final under Deschamps and were beaten by Ronaldo's Portugal. But Ronaldo actually missed the second half and most of the game afterwards, having had to be subbed off through injury. So France at least know that they have the self-belief which comes from winning things. And so they have a right to be a little bit cocky in that regard. I know it sounds hypocritical, but with regard to us, we've made the Euros final. We should have won that, but I blame Gareth Southgate for mucking that whole thing up completely. And I don't want to talk about that. I'm sure you don't. But I'm sure you'll agree with me that Southgate cost us that day. And since
Absolutely,
then,
he's costed on more than one occasion, man. Yeah, I'm tired of repeating myself to everybody that
yeah,
this guy is just a fraud.
yeah.
But no, for me, I think France, at least England have actually scored some good goals. France haven't scored an open play goal. So I know what you're saying about they've won more than us in the past, but in this tournament, I don't think they've been better than us personally. But anyway. Let's catch up with the comments. We have got a few here. Yellow card should have been. Oh yeah, I've done that one. Apparently, Felix Zouaye is taking the Netherlands v England game done for corruption 6 months ago. So why is
I mentioned that.
Why is he allowed to take a game though, man? If he's been done for that, how is that possible? Because
I really don't. I agree completely, especially even if it's 6 months ago. I think people might say, well, he's done the crime and he's done his time. But no, I agree. He shouldn't have even been considered. Are there no other German referees? And obviously with our boy Jude kicking up a stink about that, I fear some controversy going on. Could we about to be, mucked over the way Germany were mucked over by Anthony Taylor? We'll find out soon enough. The plot thickens, as one would say. But yeah, you're right when you say that France haven't been better than us. At least now we've started to score more goals in open play. But again, somehow they will find a way. And given that Spain are going to be weakened, and we'll talk about this later, I just think France might have a bit of an edge. But it wasn't a vintage performance from France, and obviously Deschamps is now going to have to continue to try and ring the changes. I don't even know if Mbappe will play. But credit to them. Credit to him as well for having the sense to take off Mbappe for the second half of extra time. He knew that he wasn't going to continue. And it's a case of the super subs helping him out, helping Deschamps out more often than not. As far as Portugal are concerned, the only way they move forward is if Ronaldo retires. Because for him, Pepe and Rui Patricio, heroes of that 2016 triumph, you get the feeling that they're not going to be a part of Portugal's future. Patricio's still a fine goalkeeper, but why should he have to play second fiddle to Diogo Costa, who is nowhere near as good as he is, or as Diogo Costa's fans think he is? I think those three will retire, but there is a good crop of youngsters coming through, and Portugal should be fine. How Bobby Martinez got that job, I will never, ever know.
Manny, I agree. I just don't understand how he keeps getting a job. I agree. It's just madness. Doug says Martinez made a mistake taking Bruno off. Why not keep him on for the penalty kick? Never thought Felix looked confident. Yeah, good point. Why did he take off Bruno? It doesn't make any sense. He should have kept him on. He's a good penalty taker. He's proven that. So I don't understand it. Do you agree, Manny? I mean, what was that? And Felix didn't look confident, did he, at all? Like you said earlier, he looked quite nervous.
Yeah, if Bruno was the one who was trying to make things happen in that particular game, then obviously taking him off was a bit of a poor decision. He's the one, along with Bernardo Silva, who probably lends that midfield a bit of bite in a way. So taking him off, a little bit like, De La Fuente taking off Yamal and Williams very nearly cost Spain. It almost, you could say, cost Portugal. And I just don't know if they were quite the same team afterwards. And one person who should have been subbed off, of course, was the bloke wearing the number 7. And you bring on the number 9, Gonçalo Ramos, and just watch him do his thing, or at least Diogo Jota if you want to get a goal. He brought on Francisco Conceição, who is definitely one of the players who will be taking Portugal forward. His father, of course, is Sergio Conceição, who was a former international and is now coach of Porto. I don't think Conceição will be coaching Porto next season, so sadly the father-son bond has been slightly broken a bit. But there are so many young players in that Portugal team who should be taking the team forward, and Martinez has to realise that and say, you know what, I've given some of you a last hurrah, but it's time to say obrigado e adios.
But Martins is a bit like Southgate, where he just does the same thing. He's done the same thing in every tournament, in every game, so it feels like, where he's made the same substitutions, he's done the same thing. You've got to be flexible with your management, and I don't know how he's got that job. But anyway, Joshua says you could see Pepe has passion for the game still when he was celebrating each time he made a tackle and pumping up the crowd. Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, the levels he's shown in this tournament has been outstanding, and it proves if you're dedicated and you very strict with yourself and stay disciplined, it proves what you can do. And the fact he's playing at this level at his age is just remarkable, and huge credit to him. But yeah, great to see that passion, of course. Nippon's in. Hello, hi. Hope you're well.
Yeah, Nippon, I want to say sorry. I mean, obviously, this poor chap had a show earlier on, and I wanted to join, but my internet wasn't really working too well, and I also had some other stuff to do. Brother, I'm really sorry. I'll try and join you next one.
Oh yeah, I was on that one, man. He's on it. Mamardashvili, goalkeeper of the tournament, 100% no debate. Joshua says. I agree. I actually agree. I think he's been outstanding, and the amount of saves. Right? Do you think this is correct, or do you think there's another contender in there, maybe potentially, Manny?
Yeah, he's right up there. I mean, I was impressed as well by the Turkish goalkeeper Günok. He did really well, obviously, with that fine save late on against Baumgartner, which broke Austrian hearts. And he showed at the age of 35 that he's still more than capable. And I think, the Turkish coach Montella, right, at least ensuring that there was one Italian manager in the last 8. He should probably stick with Günok as his goalkeeper from now on. I think, he's shown he's got that leadership ability right now in what is going to be an increasingly younger Turkish team, and I think he's definitely up there. Maignan has been okay, but not really very, very spectacular in a way. I mean, he's made the saves. Credit to him. There was, of course, a controversial incident where he saved a Robert Lewandowski penalty only for, the referee to determine that Maignan had encroached illegally, so he had to take it. Lewandowski took it again, made the same mistake, but fortunately for the Pole, he got it in. And France weren't able to win that game. So I'd agree with Joshua that Mamardashvili is, right up there for being goalkeeper of the tournament. I think Günok has been good. I think Jordan Pickford is also, he probably hasn't made too many big saves either. And there was one incident against Slovakia where he very nearly got caught off his line.
Yeah, it was a bit indecisive. Once you could see he wasn't sure what to do. Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, no, good. I personally think, Josh, you're correct. I think I know what you're saying, Manny, but I just think Mamardashvili's been so good. Big up the panel, yeah. Big up Ores, big up. Congrats on the 500 subs on to 600. Yeah, I mean, look, every milestone's great, and like I say, I'm gonna be doing my best to keep being consistent, and there's lots of exciting things to come on the channel, to be honest with you. I'm excited into next season, like I said, doing a few new grounds, doing a few vlogs as well. I'm really excited. So, yeah, that's definitely...
Do you know if there are any Yorkshire-based clubs that are going to be in League One as well?
Yes, there's a few. There's Barnsley. Barnsley's South Yorkshire.
Michael Duff's former club, yes?
Yes. But you put me on the spot here. I mean, we haven't got many Yorkshire teams in the... Who else are in there? You've got me thinking.
Sheffield Wednesday, perhaps?
No, Sheffield Wednesday in the Champions. They only just... They were looking like they were going to go down, but they didn't in the end. But I can't remember. I don't know. Let me have a look here. Rotherham, yeah. That Rotherham's in the one, yeah. Rotherham. I can't think this evening. I don't know why.
Yeah, look, mate, I'm sorry for putting you on the spot. I mean, that's something that we can talk about another day.
Yeah, Barnsley, Rotherham, and that's it for the Yorkshire teams. But anyway,
because the reason why I asked is because obviously if you've got those teams, then depending on how far Huddersfield is from those places, maybe you could do an away day vlog if you go there whenever you have an away day there.
Yeah, no. I will definitely. I'll definitely put a few of the other grounds in there. Maybe the longer distance on the twos, but I will definitely do some vlogs this season coming. Joshua says #fraudgate. I mean, yeah, I know. That's what I call him now as well. Southgate needs to go. Even if we win the tournament, still needs to leave and get the best replacement. I mean, who is the best replacement, though? This is the question. Yes, I agree. Southgate does need to go, regardless of what happens. But who is the best replacement? Because I'm looking at the options. And the FA here have proven that they aren't willing to spend the money to get somebody at the top, an elite manager. and and do you know what I mean? So I don't really know who the best option is, to be honest with you, I really don't. If Lee Carley becomes the under-21 manager, I will actually flip. He should not be becoming the England manager. I'm sorry, that would be the most uninspiring appointment you'll ever know. No disrespect to Lee Carley, but no. And Doug says Roberto Fraudinez. Yeah, I mean, he is a fraud. I don't know how he keeps getting jobs.
If failing upwards were a person, Martinez would be it, no doubt about it.
Nippon says next one is 6 p.m. on the day of the final, Manny, if you want to join.
Oh, so that's going to be right at the end then. I'll look into that, definitely. I'll see if I can. Yeah.
Thank you, John. I'm glad you like the intro and out. Yeah, I did my intro and outros on the show. Anyway, we'll keep this moving, and we will speak about. Thank you for all your contributions, by the way, guys. It's great. But let's talk about the England game, because I mean, this was another sense of a really tough watch. Obviously, Switzerland were the better team for me. And of course, they did take the lead, courtesy of Mbolo, who I did say that he would be a dangerous player for us. And he proved right. And, Xhaka, in the midfield and people like that, and Ndoye and people like that. But look, we were very poor in this game. I think the substitutions came far too late once again. Reactive rather than proactive. Southgate, that is what he's renowned for. Waiting until you're 1-0 down to make substitutions when everybody could see you needed to make changes about 15 minutes earlier was just ridiculous. Of course, then after Mbolo scored, I was feeling the worst. I thought, this is it. We're going to go out. And then Bukayo Saka came up with a moment of genius that I was really impressed with. I thought he was really good in this game, actually. And he got a beautiful goal as well. I'm really happy for him to get that goal. But we very much felt like we were kind of stumbled our way through again, and it was nice to see that Shaw got on the pitch. Now, whether he starts the next game is another thing, but I think personally I would. And then Konsa, who you did say, man, I don't think I had any doubts over Konsa because I know he's a good player, but you did say in the last episode that you didn't have any concerns about Konsa coming in because he is a good player. And he proved that as well because he was fantastic as well. So will he bring Gay back in? Or I think he has to, because personally he has been the best player at the time. But I know, obviously, best defender in the England team, sorry. But I do think Konsa is done well. But I don't think, But look, what I didn't like is we scored that goal and it seemed to be, well, let's play for extra time. And then when we got to extra time, it was like, oh, let's play for penalties. So, again, we won on penalties. By the way, 5 very good penalties. I was really impressed with all 5 of them. Obviously, Cole Palmer, he's just so good, isn't he? He's so cool. In fact, all the penalties were cool and composed.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, he did. The penalty miss for Switzerland did come from Akanji, who did get his shot saved. I think it was a good save by Pickford. In my opinion, but maybe he could have done better with that shot as well. But no, England stumble through, but you're left scratching your head to thinking, how did we manage that once again? But I mean, Manny, what did you make of this game overall? Because, yeah.
Yeah, the sad thing about this particular game was that there were moments in the game where we actually looked as though we were starting to play quite well. We were getting a little bit aggressive, especially on, trying to make sure that we've had them on the back foot, not really allowing them to press. And I think credit has to be given to Southgate for having the ability to change his system because he saw that the back four, the 4-3-2-1, wasn't really working, so he opted for a 3-4-2-1 to try to sort of nullify Switzerland's effect, you could say, in the midfield and nullify their press as well. But you have to credit Switzerland as well, because they actually found a way to get themselves back into the game, especially on the counter. And again, for a long period of time, we couldn't even muster a single goddamn shot on target. And it was, to be fair, neither did Switzerland. And it just goes to show that, as with France, it's our defence that have pretty much, more often than not, stepped up to make themselves counted, except for a few occasions. Slovakia, of course, springs to mind. But again, if we are able to achieve any kind of success in this tournament, it's again in spite of Gareth Southgate, not because of him. And it's what you said was perfect. You cannot wait until you go a goal down to make the changes that you need. And you have to give credit as well to Bukayo Saka. That was an absolutely brilliant goal. It's a goal that any striker would be proud of. Really, he had the the gumption to take that advantage, and I think Sommer probably felt as though that was going to go wide, but it ended up nestling in the back of the net via the post, and we were back even. But did we, after that, actually make a concerted effort to win the game? I think we have to look inside ourselves and say, no, we didn't. And I think we know that as long as we've got Jordan Pickford, who has all the arrogance of Emi Martinez, but nowhere near that level of ability. He's decent, don't get me wrong, but he's not that good. I think we sort of had confidence that our defence and our goalkeeper would get us out of the rut, and so it proved to be. But, again, this is another performance that leaves more questions than answers. And a lot of people might compare this to the 1990 World Cup, where we had a similar horrible start against the Republic of Ireland. But after Bobby Robson, Lord rest his soul, changed his shape and threw Mark right into the sweeper position, we started to play a little bit better against the Dutch. We got the win against Egypt. We had a moment of magic from David Platt against Belgium in the second round. We recovered from the shock of conceding 2 goals against Cameroon, with Gary Lineker being our saviour. And we played our best match against Germany. But I don't know if this team is going to be capable enough of, doing what that Italia 90 team did. And this team really, the attitude of some of these players right now would put the likes of Lineker and even Robson and others, I mean, it would make them really angry indeed. And I just don't know if this young team will, if they face a quality opponent, have the ability to muster something. It's all very well when you say that, we pressed them really well and didn't give them too much of a sniff. But if you can't even muster a single shot on target, then, it pretty much defeats your whole argument.
Yeah, no. And like I said, that Saka goal was the only shot on target that we made. So it was
the only shot on target. Oh boy!
It was. I think so. Anyway. Oh, in fact, it was our first. I don't think we had another effort, did we? After that, because we didn't seem to go for the try and win the game. But no, look. I think the reason we're in this semi-final is because of individual brilliance of these individual players that continue to deliver. So, and Southgate's very lucky he's got these level of players in his team, because without them, he wouldn't have ever got to these semi-finals and finals. Because I agree with you, Manny. The only thing is, I do want England to win the Euros, but if they do, then people that have been defending Southgate all this time will come out and say to the ones that have said Southgate should be leaving, that I told you so kind of situation. I can't be bothered with people coming out and doing that, but. Because anybody with any football intelligence will know that if we manage to, I know it's crazy to say, but we're in the running. If we somehow win the Euros, I can't believe I said that, but if we do, there's still a chance. Then it's not because of Southgate. It's in spite of them, like you said, Manny. So yeah, absolutely.
And now you understand why, as an Arsenal fan, I do not rate Mikel Arteta, because. Seriously put, that bloke doesn't have any real tactical ability or managerial sense. And our success, if anything, in continuing to challenge for the league is also very much in spite of him, because he gets his substitutions wrong at the worst possible time. He has his favourites who have to play no matter what, and it's for me, it's a case of out of the frying pan into the fire. Someone who supports Arsenal and England, so yeah, I completely concur with you there. Completely concur with you.
Yeah. Matthew's in. Hello, Ryan. Hi, Manny says hello. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry I'm a bit late with these comments, guys. We've been too busy in discussion. He says congratulations on fan subs. Yeah, big up to you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'm really looking forward to coming back on the channel when we do when England do eventually. Well, if we win it, but when we get knocked out, unfortunately. So. Whether we don't get knocked out is another question. But you know what I mean, when our tournament finishes. Tony's one was cold. Joshua says, yes, it was. He stared down the keeper, didn't he, Manny? And then he didn't even look at the goal. I don't know how he managed to get that in. But yeah, I'm so happy for Saka getting his redemption for what happened in the last Euros. Yeah, no, I concur with that, absolutely.
Kelly Clarkson was right. What doesn't kill you should make you stronger.
Yeah, I mean, where are those vile people now, eh? Anyway, we're only in the semi-final just because of individual brilliance. Yeah, absolutely. What success? I don't know what you're responding to there.
I think he's talking to me because, in as much as Arsenal have been playing good football, we haven't exactly won a trophy since that FA Cup triumph. So, Joshua, thank you very much indeed for putting me in my place.
Matthew, this would be great to have you back on, buddy. Don't you mean when we win it? Matthew, I'm sorry, but I'm just not saying it. I feel like I'm going mad actually saying that we could actually win this when we played as badly as we have. But maybe if you want to be positive, then yeah, when we win it, yeah, I'll be back on the show. Yeah. Manny with the lyrics again, love it. I know Manny's great.
I try.
But yeah, England stumbled through, and yeah, it was the same old story, unfortunately. And for me, I won't change it. We will go. In fact, we'll discuss that in a moment when we go on to the semi-finals. Predictions now. The last game provided some very exciting entertainment and a really lovely way to finish the quarterfinals off. The Netherlands, obviously, coming up on top just about against Turkey, who again were very good and we impressed me once more. But yeah, obviously Turkey did take the lead in the 35th minute. Aikaydin got the goal. Great, from what I remember, great goal. And then De Vrij equalised in the 75th minute, so they nearly, last 15, you think yourself, oh, Turkey going to close it out, but then obviously De Vrij scores. And then Mulder scores a minute later. But yeah, I mean, look, the Netherlands came from behind to see off, obviously, Turkey and, really set up that semi-final clash against us, of course, in the semi-finals. But yeah, I mean, this game, I think the Netherlands did kind of the class. I think they did prove that they did have a bit more quality, in my opinion.
Yes.
Obviously, the Netherlands. People are downplaying the Netherlands like they're rubbish, but they're not. They're not a rubbish team.
No. Cody
Gakpo has found his rhythm in the last few games. I know people say about the clinical edge at Netherlands, but I'm sorry. It's because of what the Netherlands used to have, and I think that's why people seem to think, well, just because these aren't what they used to have and they're not elite players, they're apparently rubbish all of a sudden. No, they're not. Cody Gakpo has shown what he can do, and yes, they have missed a lot of chances in the Netherlands, but I still think they've got some good players, and I do like the midfielder Reinders. I believe I've forgotten where he played. I've forgotten where. I think he plays for AC Milan in Italy. And he's been good in that midfield for them.
Yeah.
Javi Simmons hasn't really found his groove as of yet. I really did expect a bit more from him, if I'm honest. But he hasn't done anything really. But I mean, going back to the game though, I think the Netherlands did deserve to win, but Turkey still fought till the end and still tried to, try to get an equaliser when they did go behind. So I think they can be very proud of how far they've come, but they may be quite disappointed because they were 1-0 up. You have to manage the game better, and maybe that experience just of seeing out a game wasn't there for them. But yeah, I think I've kind of summed up the game, but the Netherlands do go through and again build on that confidence they've had in the last few rounds. But I mean, Manny, what did you make of the game overall? Because I think Turkey have been really good and done themselves proud, but the Netherlands just had too much for them in the end.
Yes, and you've actually got to give Netherlands credit because, for what it's worth, they are still considered, at least in theory, one of the teams that's expected to go some way in the tournament. And unlike England, they seem to have found their mojo at a really good time. And there was a point in time, of course, during the group stages when they were struggling to, score, and when they lost to Austria 3-2, with a result which sentenced them to finishing third in their group. A lot of people were thinking, I think, that this Netherlands team might very well be done for. But obviously, the decision to bring back Dumfries in place of Geertruida worked. Dumfries is quite simply one of the key players in that team, and with very good reason. And, there's still so much quality to bring off the bench. And credit to Kurt Koeman, he has started to bring on a few more of the more marginalised players in the tournament. In the second round, he brought on Daley Blind. In this match, he brought on Jeremy Frimpong, who's also considered to be a fine talent. And some of the substitutes have, stood up to make themselves counted and really proven that they are worthy of more game time. It's just that so far, for what it's worth, the starters seem to have done their job. Does that mean that they are by any means the perfect team? Far from it, no. You still have situations where the likes of Memphis Depay is missing quite a few chances, which normally you'd think he'd bury, as it were. Even there are times when Xavi Simons, for all of his talent, looks to be a little bit of a petulant little git, and just can't get things going his way. But I like the look of the Netherlands team. They're free when now that Gakpo is pretty much in his element, as you mentioned. They're starting to score a lot more goals, and you just hit the nail on the head. They just had more of the quality. They just looked a lot sharper. And for Turkey, well, you have to credit them, really. Obviously, the days of Senol Güneş and Fatih Terim and all of those fantastic players who reached the semi-finals of the World Cup in 2002 and the Euros in 2008, those days, of course, are all, gone. But there is, of course, a group of young players, and you've got to watch out for Arda Güler. I know that a lot of people are going to drool about Yamal and Williams, but for me, this young bloke has to be right up there as one of the breakout players of the tournament. It was he who inspired their win against Austria. He was one of the people who was really trying his hardest. And I think you got the feeling that when Montella took him off, talk about a conservative substitution, they started to lose a little bit of their bite and their edge. But credit, of course, to the Turkey substitutes who came on in his place. They also did as well as they could. They did the job that Montella wanted them to do. It just wasn't quite enough for Turkey to get the equalizer that they needed in the end. But they did themselves a world of justice, the Turks. But the Netherlands do look very sharp and very dangerous. And if anyone has any impressions that we're going to have a really good game against this lot, I'm sorry, you're in for a rude awakening.
I mean, to be fair, absolutely, I agree. I don't know why people are writing off the Netherlands. But that the Turkish player, the striker Yilmaz, I think he's a really good player, isn't he? I've been quite impressed by him. I think he's, really been a handful in this tournament for defence. So I think Turkey, well done. You did yourselves proud, but you did your best and you didn't. But the Netherlands just had too much. But yeah. So the Netherlands do go through to face us, of course. Now, guys, we have finished the end of our review, and we are going to start making our predictions now for the semi-finals. But we also are going to talk just a little bit about the games as well. So the first game, and by the way, guys, get your score predictions in the chats. You know, if you wish to, let me know what you think these games are going to finish. But look, Spain versus France, which of course is tomorrow evening, the first of the two semi-finals. Look, I think we've got one team that has really impressed and been one of the best teams in the tournament and very exciting to watch. And you've got another team who have got so much talent but haven't reached the levels that they should be doing with these players, and the players that should be standing up haven't done. So this game is going to be really intriguing, and it's going to be an interesting watch, because if France do not play well in this game again, they will simply get beat. They won't get lucky this time, because Spain will put this game to bed and they will punish the French. And you can look at it another way, where the French do seem to find a way to win at all costs. But I just think Spain will punish them if they do not perform here. Because I definitely expect Spain to continue the way they have been throughout the tournament. I don't expect them to drop any levels. Maybe, they would like to go up a level again to make sure they get to that final. But I think their level that they've shown in previous games will be enough to beat France if France don't perform well. But obviously, there's going to be intriguing battles. Obviously, I always seem to think of Mbappe a lot in the French team, but will Mbappe turn up in this game? Will Yamal maybe get himself a goal? He's deserved it, to be fair, but he's had the most shots and he still hasn't scored. Apparently, he had one of the most shots that any other player has got, but he hasn't scored. I seem to remember seeing that stat the other day. Williams, of course, we know what he's about, and I know Spain do have a few suspensions, but for me, he's going to be concerned what they do with who they will with Carvajal. Will Cucurella go across the right and then Grimaldo comes in, and that would be pretty much a decent. Well, it would be more than decent. I really like Grimaldo, so I don't think they're weakened in any way. Maybe experience-wise they might be, but I think Grimaldo can do a job. But you can. But I was just going to say before I pass over to you, I do think Spain will win this game. I'm going for a 3-1 Spain win. But yeah, Manny, go ahead.
Yeah, the problem is, Spain are coming up against one of the most disciplined defenses in the entire tournament, and I can't stress that enough. And the thing about the suspensions is it's not just Carvajal who's suspended. I do believe the striker Morata is also suspended. He's also captain of the team. So to answer your question about who could come in, it could very well be.
He's not suspended. Morata's not suspended. It was a mistake. Because I saw something the other day and he said they got it wrong. He's not suspended for this game. He was wrong, so he's available.
Okay. Yeah. So if he's available, then it's good. But to answer your question as to who could come in, the answer could very well lie in another of their old guard, Jesus Navas, who has been, he's been doing quite well for Sevilla, obviously, and he's someone who can definitely add that level of experience that Spain might need in the absence of the likes of Carvajal and company. And with him in the team, they'll always have some options there. And I'm actually going to go so far to say that, in as much as Spain might have played very well, they also did get themselves very lucky with that scandalous refereeing decision in a way. I get the feeling that their luck might perhaps, run out. And when you're dealing with a France team that just have that winning heritage, with that winning sort of mentality, that Deschamps is going to give his players a kick up the backside and let them know, listen, some of you are playing for your futures with this team. You are playing for our reputation and our heritage. So you better get your acts together. And there isn't even a guarantee that Mbappe may even start. So that's going to put a lot
Yeah.
more pressure on some of the players in that team to truly to make sure they step up to be counted. And I actually do believe that I actually do believe that Deschamps will pretty much have given that rollicking, and it could very well be that France will find a way to counter the Spanish even better than other teams have been able to throughout this tournament. So I'm going for a somewhat lower scoring game because the battle's obviously between Yamal and Williams and France's own left fullbacks in Koundé and Hernandez will certainly be very, very key. And if the fullbacks win that battle, then you will shudder to wonder how Spain will be able to go from there. So I'm actually going to once again disagree with you on the result and also on the scoreline. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Les Bleus. But if Spain do manage to win, then I think for several people, including a few of my mates with whom I've got a Super Brew pool going on, I think that might be poetic justice. One of them actually said, if France and England do manage to make the final, then both Deschamps and Southgate should be sent to The Hague for crimes against football. Talk about the hyperbole there. I think that's a little bit far-fetched, but it is what it is. But France to edge it against Spain, 2-1.
I think that would, oh my goodness, that would just be heartbreaking for Spain. But yeah, fair enough. Look, Spain, I think it will be a misjustice if they don't get to the final. I know you did say they did get a decision, but I think overall they have. I don't think you can warrant a place in the final because you played well previously, but I just think they've been outstanding and I think they've been the best team. So if they weren't in that final, it would be, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it would be a misjustice. Now, people have been able to comment on X. I haven't had a comment on X before, but I've actually got my first comment from X. So, or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, right? Because I am live on Twitter as well. So it does work. I thought it didn't because people weren't commenting from that platform. Anyway, Yilmaz plays as a winger for Galatasaray. Yeah, Spain 2-0 against France. Joshua says, interesting. They have Jesus Navas. Yeah, I don't really know if he could last a full game at his age. I mean, he might be able to. I don't know. But I think I don't know how old he is. I think he's quite old now. So
he's also in his late 30s, mind you. And, if Pepe was able to do a brilliant job in this tournament.
Yeah, true.
I think that a lot of these older players in the tournament, of course, with the exception of a certain CR7, have actually really, really been impressive, proving that, there is still life in them, as it were.
Yeah.
So Navas will probably have a role to play, especially with Carvajal out of commission, as it were.
Yeah, true. And that Town fan has gone for a 3-1 Spain win as well.
Your scoreline.
Yeah, the same scoreline as me. Yeah. Oh, well, that is it. But yeah, that's my first comment from X on here. I haven't read any comments out from there before, but I didn't know if it was working. But yeah, no.
It does. I mean, once you put the stream out to all those platforms, you will get comments from there. Whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, if you put it as an Instagram live as well, don't be surprised if you don't get comments there either.
Yeah, absolutely. And Josh says,
don't be surprised if you get comments there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Mental flatulence, please forgive.
Josh says, I've not been committed to France and I've been impressed by Spain, especially Yamal. I hope he gets a goal. Yeah, he deserves a goal, doesn't he, I think. But yeah, I'd love to see it. And yeah, I agree. I've not been convinced of France being very poor. But yeah, I mean, look, we have. So I've gone for a 3-1 Spain win. You've gone for a 2-1 France win, Mania, and thank you everybody else for giving me your predictions too in the chat there. Josh has been wanting to score so bad to become the youngest scorer. Yeah, it would be such a brilliant story if that happens. Yeah, I really do hope it happens. But yeah, let's move on then to the next game. We know what's coming, Manny. The second. In fact, I've put this as a wrong. let me just quickly take that. Here we are. Oh, right, here we are. Right, here we are, guys. And I've lost. There we are. Right, yeah. Oh my goodness. Right, so the Netherlands taking on England, of course. Can we reach the final to somehow make it the most incredible run to a final when we played so poorly? How we if we get to a final, it'll just be unbelievable with the way we played. But I think this game will be very interesting. I have seen various comments from people, like I said earlier, Manny, about the Netherlands won't really be able to do much against us and all that. I'm just thinking to myself, well, hang on a minute, we haven't done much either, so, just stop talking down opponents. They are in the semi-finals. They're a good side. I do like, well, obviously, Cody Gakpo has shown his qualities in the past few games, I said. I do like that Reinders in the midfield for them. I think he's been brilliant on the ball and looks like he can spray a pass and create something. But Xavi Simons really does need to step up in this game because he has been poor. At the back as well, though, I think at the back, for me, I mean, I don't know how many goals we conceded in this tournament, but I can't remember, guys, honestly. But I do think that they've got a good foundation in the back with what they have. I am surprised that he hasn't started Van de Ven anymore, and then he has. I thought Van de Ven maybe should have partnered Van Dijk in the middle there, but I don't know. I don't know, but he obviously hasn't. But no, and obviously England, look, I've got to a point now where I'm not going to say I hope we play well, because we never do. We never do with this manager. So I'm not going to hope that anymore. It's taken me long enough. I always kept saying I hope that we play, but we're just not going to play well. I'm sorry. We just don't seem to. We'll have moments of brilliance maybe once again, but I just don't. You can't expect anything else from this Southgate team anymore because he's just a complete fraud, as we've mentioned. But this is going to be an intriguing game. There is a few selection issues here with England. Do we put Gay back in there? He has had a brilliant tournament, and obviously Konza has filled in well for him, but I think it would be harsh to not allow Gay to continue what he already gave in the majority of the games. Konza has filled in very well; he did fantastically, but I think I think Gay should come back in. Would you bring Shaw in? Obviously, Shaw has came off the bench in the last game and has had minutes. He looked quite good actually to say he hadn't played much football lately. And going forward, in fact the formation going to be different, or is it going to stay the same? If it does stay the same, I'm sorry, but Foden has to come out for me. I want to see Cole Palmer come in with Bellingham, and we have to do something different. Now, there's been a lot of talk about if Harry Kane should be starting because he has looked very undercooked and he scored a couple of goals. And for me, I think Harry Kane, you can talk that he doesn't look fit or he doesn't look his normal self. But for me, he's still got that killer striker's instinct, hasn't he? He's always in the right place for attack. If he gets a chance, he will score. And this is the dilemma you've got. Do you put him in to start once more? Or do you maybe go to the bench and look at somebody else? I would personally go for Watkins over Toney, but maybe Toney might be a better option in terms of where Southgate seems to like that target man as the striker. But I mean, man, I've kind of got. But I will go for my prediction. Now, guys, I actually predicted England to lose the last game, and they actually won it. So is this a good omen that I'm going against us again? Because does that mean we're going to win again? I'm very superstitious. But for me, I think the Netherlands just beat us here. I think our luck has run out. And I think we'll get beat 2-1. I hate going against England because I would love to see us get there. But is it going to be a massive injustice to see us get to that final after how badly we play? I know I keep going on about it, but we played so badly. And yeah, so for me, 2-1 the Netherlands. People are underestimating the Netherlands, and I think that might come back to haunt some of these fans that are writing off the Netherlands already before the ball's even being kicked because of certain clinical, being not clinical in that final third. But anyway, I've waffled on. Manny, I mean, what do you make of this game, and what do you think the score is going to be?
Well, of course, let's also not forget that central to our planning will be a former Dutch international in the form of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, very much a star for them during the early 2000s. But when Holland failed to qualify for the World Cup, he, for some reason, ended up finding himself out of favour and never played for Oranje again. But he's obviously going to look to try and do what he can to provide Southgate with the tactical help that he may need. And believe you me, Southgate will definitely need a lot of tactical help. But again, when it comes to this Dutch team, I also would agree with you when I say that our luck has run out because, in as much as Switzerland were definitely technically a very pleasing and aesthetic-looking team, they also just weren't able to have the discipline needed to hold on to the lead that they had, and it cost them in a way. And it was just unfortunate for them as well. And then, of course, when it came to penalties, we clearly had the nerve, and I'm glad that we did. But this Dutch team, worryingly enough, from a team that couldn't even hit a horse's backside with a banjo, sorry for the graphic language there, have now started to score goals a lot more frequently. To answer your question as well earlier, they conceded 1 goal against Poland, 1 goal against France, 3 against Austria, a clean sheet against Romania, and 1 against Turkey to take them to 6 goals conceded. And they scored twice against Poland, once against France, twice against against Austria, thrice against Romania. That takes it to 8, I believe, and 2 against Turkey gives them 10 goals for the tournament. So they have started to score more goals, and they are starting to find their shooting range and the way they can put they're starting to sort of rediscover their style, as it were. And of course, off the bench, they've got several fine players they can bring on. Watch out for Daniel Malen, who proved to be the difference against Romania. And knowing us as well as we do, we are just not going to do what we need to do to make sure to get a foothold in the game. We'll play some really attractive pressing football, which will give the impression that we're dominating. But again, we may fail to land a shot on target. And I completely agree with you. It's not going to be good enough. And that is one of the reasons why I also agree that Gareth Southgate should walk regardless of the result of this particular tournament. And besides, if he ends up winning, then at least he can stick a couple of fingers up at us and say, "You sods, I told you so." But I just don't think that'll happen. I think, as you say, our luck will run out. And I'm going for a 3-2 win. I think it's going to be a somewhat higher scoring game. We're going to find our scoring boots and possibly find some goals. But anything that we can do, the Dutch will just do that little bit better, including score. So 3-2 to the Netherlands for me.
Yeah, no. So we're not feeling that confident anybody in the building this evening, because we have got a few more predictions in. Hang on, let me have a look. Missed quite a lot of comments. Let's have a look. Can't tell me France will win when they haven't scored a goal from open play all tournament. I mean, yeah, it is incredible how they haven't scored an open they haven't scored a goal from open play. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's why I have gone against. I just can't see Spain losing that game. That Town fan says, head says 2-0 Netherlands, heart says 1-0 England. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit mixed with what I think. They've conceded 5 goals, dropped Kane. I see losing as well. Joshua's gone for 2-1 Netherlands win, sorry. They didn't score against France, Joshua said. They have 9 goals. They've scored 9 goals, apparently. I'm
pretty certain it was a 1-1 draw. I'm pretty certain it was 1-1. I'll have to check. If I'm wrong, then thank you for correcting me.
I can't remember now. But yeah, I mean, we've covered it. We've gone through it, and it has been a fabulous show. And we will see in the next few days who. We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah. The bloke who said that in the comments is right. So it was a goalless draw between Holland and France. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
They failed to score, and I stand corrected. So thank you very much again.
yeah. But no, we will see what happens over the coming days. Who will make the final? We will soon find out. But yeah, Manny, I appreciate you coming on this evening. It's been great to have
Always
you
a
on.
pleasure.
Feel
Always,
free
always.
to feel free to give yourself a plug with your socials, of course, and anything else you want to add.
Yeah, socials as usual. Do catch me on Twitter at Thangatherai1981. Also, catch me on Instagram at Threads at MannyThangatherai1981. That's my surname and my full name and my year of birth, in case people are wondering why that is. And as far as YouTube channels are concerned, I don't have a YouTube channel of my own. But first of all, big up to Ryan and Huddersfield Town Fan TV for having me on. I do remember coming on some time ago to comment on one of their games, I remember. But obviously, given that our teams are in different leagues and I don't get coverage of, I don't get coverage of the
Yeah,
division that Huddersfield are in. It's very difficult for me to watch any kind of action there. But if I do get to watch something, obviously it will be wonderful to talk with Ryan about it, and I'm sure I'd love to come on again. But apart from that, when it comes to England watch-alongs, he and I share a similar love for England. We're not like the club over country people who can be a little bit harsh, for want of a nicer word, with their contempt of it. And other YouTube channels, do catch me on Up the Cherries in All Departments. We had Matt Harrison in the group already, and big up to him. We do the cherry picking series together. Big up as well to Del Boy Gunner TV and the likes of Gun Down UK with Carl. We do the Flammable Thursdays and Saturday Night Fever podcast series, which is always a great deal of fun with him. And also shout out to obviously Oris Talks Football was in the chat earlier. Big up to him, and big up to the work that he's been doing for the competition, I think. And several others. Don't really have the ability to name them at the moment, but all exceptionally important to me, quite special. And if they don't believe me, as always, I send them a check in the post. And nothing much else to say except thanks a lot to all of you in the chat for coming in, because you're the ones who make this stream and Ryan's channel what they are. Congratulations once again to him for the magic 500. Hopefully 500 more and more after that. And I'll be very excited to see, because not too many people do fan content for, Huddersfield Town. It's obviously one of the more venerated clubs in English football. I believe, if memory serves me right, they won 3 consecutive league championships back in the day. And well, I always have said to Ryan that it's very important that we have more and more people like him doing content for his team and other teams like that. So apart from that, I hope you'll have a good week ahead. Enjoy the football, enjoy the tennis if that's what you enjoy. Enjoy the cricket. I know Ryan doesn't like that, so I stay away from that. I do believe England, of course, will be playing the first test against the West Indies. That should be an interesting game to watch. James Anderson's farewell after a magnificent career. And just take care of yourselves. Be safe and be happy. Don't do anything that Ryan and I wouldn't do. But until then, farewell to thee. Goodbye and God bless to all of you. We'll see you all very soon.
Yeah, big up to you, Manny, as always. It's a pleasure. But yeah, guys, thank you all for your contributions. It's been a great show. Enjoy the Euros. Like I say, let's see what happens. And yeah, I mean, I was thinking about doing an England preview show, but I'm not sure if I'll have time tomorrow. So I'm not too sure, guys. There might be one, but if not, there will definitely be a reaction to the game in some capacity. And yeah, no, stay tuned for more content. Like I say, any more Huddersfield news as well. I'll be doing a video on that, no doubt about it. Don't you worry about that. And any transfer news or anything. But yeah, enjoy the football. Like I say, I do want to obviously say thank you everyone for supporting the channel and helping me get to 500. It's much appreciated. And we got there, and I appreciate every single person that comes in and shows support and watches my content. I really do. So bigger things to come. I'm looking to do lots more over the next 12 months, of course. And yeah, let's see what happens. But guys, thanks for your company, and we will see you very, very soon for the next episode of the Euros. We will do some other Euro stuff as well before the tournament ends. Great stream, big up, and have a good rest of the evening. And yeah, big up to you, Joshua. Yeah, but yeah, guys, we're out. So yeah, see you on the next one. Then take care, and we'll see you very, very soon. Good night, all.
Cheers, everyone.